Welcome to another episode of SVB Live. My name is Kelly Wayne, and I am your host today. I am also the Director of Sales here at Seniors Blue Book. I am very excited to have my guest, Michelle Robles, on from Robles Law. We are going to be discussing some very important topics today, so I want you to hang in there. We're going to specifically discuss estate planning and making sure that your documents are accurate. Some people don't realize think that they have everything that they need. Michelle's going to tell us why that might not be the case and why it's important for you to double check everything. So again, lots of education today. Before I turn it over to Michelle, because she is our guest and superstar for today, I want to just ask all of you to take a moment and let us know that you're here. You can give us a thumbs up if you're watching live. Also, let us know if you are watching from a specific city or county. We always like to know where you're watching from. And of course, if you have any questions while you are watching us, go ahead and type them in the chat and we'll make sure we get you some answers. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Michelle. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And go ahead and tell everyone who you are and why today's topic is so crucial that people listen in.
Hi, I'm Michelle Robles, and I'm with Robles Law over in sunny Sarasota. So I specialize in estate planning and probate, so I get to see both sides of the spectrum. You know, people who don't plan ahead, people who have their documents done and up to date, and those who do not have anything up to date. So this is a very important topic. As soon as you turn 18, you should have your estate plan done. And if you've got a estate plan from 30 years ago, you need to take it out at least once a year and kind of read through it, making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. I also recommend having a consultation with an attorney just to have a second set of eyes on your estate plan, because there's things that you may have thought you had done correctly and it turns out otherwise.
Okay. I'm actually going to stop you because I want to go back to your comment about as soon as you are 18. And I wonder, obviously, how many people think they don't need something like this? Because that to me, we may have some younger viewers, even, we do a lot of work with seniors, but there might be some younger, more active seniors who are still putting something like this off. What if you don't think you don't have any assets or any reason to have any of your documents in place? What would you tell people who, I wouldn't say are procrastinating or just don't think they have a need?
There's a lot of us out there. But you definitely, I always say the age of 18, because that usually shocks people because they think, at that age, you don't have anything. But as soon as you become an adult, as soon as you open up a checking account or a savings account, you need your estate plan done. Parents lose a lot of rights over their kids at the age of 18. And in order to avoid that, by having an estate plan done, they'll be able to take care of things should something happen. So then we get into the older age group where you think, oh, I'm still too young for that, or I don't have anything worthwhile. You'd be surprised. Even, like I said, just a simple bank account can be detrimental if you should pass away without proper planning.
Exactly. And I think that there's probably people who think they did it a long time ago. And you did mention in your intro that you should either an anniversary date of whatever that is, you pick the date and you look at your documents.
Exactly.
If someone would say, well, nothing's really changed, why is it so important to look at them so frequently? Give us an example of why something might change that someone might not realize needs to be documented.
Exactly. So let's say once a year, take your estate plan out and kind of read through it. If you need a date to remember, how about your birthday? That's a perfect time to actually pull out your documents and take a read through. So a couple of things that you want to pay attention to. One, is it a Florida trust or estate plan? So for example, if you guys move from out of state, you might want to have an attorney take a look at those documents and make sure that they comply with Florida law. 2, changes in the law. So for example, in 2011, we had a huge revamp of durable power of attorney language that's required in Florida. and it has to be done in a certain way. You definitely want to have that document updated. Have something happen to your kids, are they now on disability or Medicaid? Are grandchildren born, or you planned for grandchildren that may not exist? Maybe your kids decided not to have children. So what's your backup plan in case something happens to them? And you'd be surprised at how often we look back at estate plans and then find out it wasn't witnessed or notarized correctly. Or there's a clause in your plan that says, if you dispute this will, you're kicked out. Well, Florida won't hold that up. So that might change the way you're interpreting your estate plan. I've even seen a Florida will that someone did offline, and they had language reflecting Oklahoma statutes instead of Florida statutes. So keeping an eye on things like that will definitely, prevent errors from happening, because it's just going to take you straight into probate.
Right. And I think one of the things I will say, every time I meet with Michelle or I see her speak, I always I walk away saying, oh my gosh, I need to do something that I didn't do. So the education is crucial. And
Yes.
I think a lot of times people think they're going to have another day to do something. And I think that sometimes it's events that are going to happen that make us think, wow, I probably should make sure, along like a trip that you might be taking or a surgery or something where you think, gosh, we hope nothing goes wrong. But if it does, give folks watching an example of when when something goes wrong, because you say probate, and that's why I wanted to jump in and ask for more specifics on that, because I don't think anyone quite realizes what that means when they haven't made the time to organize their wishes with their estate the way that they would like, and then how long that process is, or what it means for the loved ones left behind.
Oh gosh.
Go ahead and give us an example there.
Yeah, so the two typical events that we get is call from the hospital, spouse is in ICU with a head injury, we need a power of attorney. At that point, it's too late. If they have a head injury and they're now with no capacity, no one can sign those documents except for that person. So at that point, it's too late. It goes straight into a guardianship. If the person has passed, at that point, you're dealing with probate. So probate is the court process of taking something out of someone's name and transferring it to who the beneficiaries are. And if it's not done correctly, probate will be required. It's expensive. It's time consuming. Typical fees can be up to 3% of whatever the asset is worth. Your bank accounts are frozen, typically if it's an individual account. So no one's got money for paying for cremation or for funeral expenses. And it takes months to get access to those funds. So it could be detrimental to most people. And the process can take anywhere between 3 months for a simple probate, or up to 12 months for a more complicated probate. And that's just time wasted. You're trying to grieve, and then you're dealing with all these financial issues and not having access to things. And it can all be easily avoided if you plan ahead.
Yeah. And I think for me anyways, and I'll use myself as an example, your life is busy. We're all busy. And we always think that will have more time, but then when you just take a minute and you realize that maybe your documents aren't up to date, maybe you did it once before and you say, okay, I'm glad that's done. The reality is, like Michelle said, things change, laws change, your life changes, the people that come in and out of your life change.
Exactly.
I think that's really important to note, that what you had 5-10 years ago may not necessarily be, what you want. And I think you'd agree, Michelle, it's what do you want right now, right? I mean, we want people to choose for them. You have the ability to make your choices right now.
Exactly. Versus a guardianship. I mean, you're giving the court a lot of power to make decisions on your behalf when you can easily do that yourself. You can pick the person that you want to be in charge. Because a court could pick someone who you would not trust. Maybe it's one of your kids that doesn't handle their finances very well. Well, you definitely don't want them handling your finances at that point. So make those decisions up front, keep them up to date. Things change. Kids grow up, they can either do really well in life and be financially set, or they can go in the other direction, have drug issues or substance abuse issues. And estate planning is perfect for that, and avoiding any the last thing you want to do is give a child a lot of money if they have substance abuse issues. That is a detrimental issue that could easily be avoided. So as life changes, read through your documents and just make sure that your intent is still there and all the protections are in there.
Yeah, very good and excellent points, because things do change. And I think a lot of people probably would ask, and you've already answered this question, that it's got to be difficult, or it's an expensive process to change a name or this or that. And I think it's relatively easy to do, correct?
Yes, yeah. So most attorneys give free consultations. I know I do. It's a free 30-minute consultation. We kind of just sit down, review your documents if you already have them done, kind of do a financial overview so that we can avoid probate wherever we're able to, especially with financial accounts that can easily have a beneficiary and a backup beneficiary list. And we just do just a quick overhaul, making sure everything is exactly how you intended it to be. And if any changes need to be made, you can hire us to do that.
Yeah, so easy to do, and no reason why, if you haven't done it, you shouldn't inquire. Like Michelle said, free consultation. I think this has been great, and thank you very much. All great, great nuggets of information. For those of you who perhaps have questions, like I said, if you've added them in the chat, we will definitely look at those and make sure we get you answers. But more importantly, the person that can answer the questions is Michelle herself. So I encourage you to reach out to her. If you don't have your Seniors Blue Book, which is your book, then you can grab that anywhere you go, libraries, doctor's offices, in Walgreens, they're everywhere. So just look for your book. But if you do have the book, you can turn to page 23 or 43. That's where you will find all of Michelle's contact information. In the event that, Michelle, they don't have the book, tell them quickly how is the best way for them to connect with you.
Sure. Our office number is 941-315-2114. My lovely staff will easily set you up for a free consultation. You can also reach us at www.robleslawpa.com. That's our website. You can actually submit a request through there as well. And we're located in the Palmer Ranch area, so we're centralized. So if you're down south or up north, you can easily reach us right off the interstate.
Yeah. And very easy to get to in a great location. So
yeah,
Michelle, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and thank you to all of you who watched us today. We hope you got some really good information, and I certainly recommend you reach out to Michelle if you have additional questions. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, everyone, I hope you are having a great day, and continue to have a great day. Michelle, you as well.